Hey guys, so in today's video we are going to be chatting all about that relaxation protocol. So the relaxation protocol was something that was created originally by a behaviourist called Karen Overall, and she was working on a dog being in a sit or a down stay position while different activities were going on around them. So the idea was to be able to help them to cope with life happening when they were holding a static position. Now I swapped it out a little bit and I work on this on a relaxation mat instead. So I like my dogs to have something nice and comfy to be settled on and be able to hang out in that space for a longer period of time. It also really helps, I find, when you're adding in movement or distractions into the environment, for our dogs to have a specific boundary that they understand where they should hang out. This process I use with so many of my clients, from behaviour to puppies. It's such a great tool to be using, and it works through so many different scenarios, especially if you are expecting a new baby or child into your lives. So we're going to start off in today's video with the very basics, the stage 1 of teaching the relaxation protocol. And this happens over 15 days. Now you don't have to worry, you don't have to do this over consecutive 15 days. I'm not making you work every single day for the next couple of weeks. But what it does is it gives you an idea day by day of how to extend your dog's settle position, how to add in that extra bit of distraction slowly but surely. So what I suggest doing is working through the document, which you can find by clicking on the link below, and working through it at the pace that your dog can cope with. So it may be that certain days you can whiz through and you're absolutely fine to move on the second day. Maybe that there's a couple of the days where some of the exercises, perhaps it's when you start to move towards the door of the room that your dog is in, that they find it a little bit more tricky, and we need to break that down either into smaller stages or stay on that stage for a little bit longer. So what happens is every time you are going to do a little bit of your relaxation protocol, you're going to bring out a mat or a blanket for your dog to settle on. Now ideally in the initial stages you would be working on bringing this out only when you're doing your relaxation protocol. Later down the line we can have it out all the time and the dogs can have free access to it so they can start to make their own choices to go to their mat when they want to. But right now it can really help to make it very clear to our dogs what we're teaching them and what we're setting up scenario wise by bringing out the mat. It also means if at any point they struggle with a session, we can just pick that mat up and there's nothing that's going to be sort of punishing for our dogs. It just means we've ended the session for that day. We can put it away and the dogs aren't learning to get it wrong around that mat. So you're going to bring out your mat, you're going to teach them to go onto it first, and there's a great video which I'll link here in the notes below which goes through the stages of teaching a centre bed, which is just the same as teaching a send to settle mat. So you're going to start off with that, and what we want to make sure is that we can get our dogs from a couple of meters away going to their mat for maybe 10-20 seconds. Then you can start working through these 15 days of relaxation protocol. As I said, grab the document below and you'll be able to then see what you should be working on each day or over the consecutive period that you're going to be practicing this whole protocol. So for example, day 1, it might be that you're doing a settle on the mat for 5 seconds, you reward your dog. You do 10 seconds, you reward your dog. You take a couple of steps away, you go back and you reward your dog. You take a couple of steps away, you clap your hands and you go back and you reward your dog. So the idea being is that your dog stays on this mat for the entirety of each day's set of little tasks, and you go back to them or you just stand there and reward them depending on which of the parts of the exercises you're doing, and you reward them between each little breakdown of exercise. So if you're doing a 5-second settle or you're doing a move away for 2 steps, after each of those reps you're going to go back and give your dog a nice little treat. Now ideally for this one I'd be using sort of medium-ish value treats, because what I don't want to do is be having this like crazy high value stuff that my dog's getting super excited about and then they can't focus and concentrate. Or they think, woohoo, we're learning something new, this is a super exciting training session, and they are getting up in between each repetition. We want this to be about a switch off behaviour where our dogs are just learning to chill out while stuff happens around them. And that stuff to start with is just going to be about you moving around, adding in a little bit of distraction, adding things like moving to the door, all sorts of different exercises. Then once we've got through the 15 days, what we can start to do is add in some more sort of examples that are going to help you specifically for when your child arrives. Those are going to be things like introducing new equipment, introducing sounds, having your dog settling while you are practicing putting a nappy on a doll, all sorts of things like that that are going to get your dog to feel okay about stuff happening around them that might be more likely to occur once baby arrives. So hopefully you will fall in love with the relaxation protocol just as much as I do, and if you've got any questions at all, just pop a comment into the comment box below. Would love to help you, but hopefully you'll find this one a really great one to be working on with your dogs and you'll really enjoy doing it together.